Hi, fellow tea lovers. Settle in, because we've got a story. I'm Nell.
And I'm Rose, and today we're bringing you the tea.
Across eras. So during the Baroque period, as in if it's not Baroque, don't fix it.
I love that joke.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to go watch the animated Disney original Beauty and the Beast right away. They also believed that using saunas and sweat cleansing in the Baroque period helped you purge your toxins and maintain healthy skin.
There's a wonderful story about a doctor that locked himself in his sauna for 90% of his day. You know, people had to come and see him. He surrounded himself with water bottles, stuck a burning piece of rue out of each nostril, and would only eat green gauge jelly. And to be fair, he lived until something like 74.
I could probably live to be 74 without trying right now.
Exactly.
I mean, knock on wood, I'd like to be a little healthier. In the 1800s, exercise and cleanliness became like more of a thing in society that was important. Again, light skin is still what everybody's after. And at that time, women would apply mixtures of zinc oxide and lemon juice to their skin in an effort to brighten their complexions. We've also still got people using oatmeal and honey and egg yolks at this time. The 1800s actually also marks the beginning of mass-produced skincare products.
You're getting a lot more factory settings?
Yep. So we've got baby powder, Vaseline, and chapstick, which some of them being in different forms, but, you know, same thing. That's when they kind of started being mass-marketed. And then in the Victorian era, hygiene and cleanliness, like even more cleanliness, starts to become something like upper class people are all about.
You're getting a lot more access to in-house tub arrangements.
Yep.
And
Beauty salons started appearing around that time. I found this funny. Many of them had a secret back entrance, like a strip club. But that was so that you wouldn't have to be embarrassed being seen going in, because how dare anyone think you're 60 when you're 64 and you're trying to look 53. You know what I'm saying?
Gauche thing, you know.
Yeah. I'm skipping around again, but in 1896, we have this lady named Helena Rubinstein enter the scene. She's from Poland, but that was the year she took her broke self and she was like, moving to Australia. Why? Homegirl refused an arranged marriage.
At that point, run fast, run far.
Yep. So while she was broke, she had connections there in Australia. She had an uncle and whoever his family was. And then she also shows up with no money, very little English, but she's got these cool clothes and this super nice complexion. And people are like, wow, what do you have? And so basically people start buying what she's selling. And what she's selling is lanolin. Doo-doo.
Spinner's friend. And by spinner, I mean spinner of wool.
Yes. Lanolin is still used in skincare today. And, okay, this is not as gross as it sounds. It just has words that are gross. Okay? Lanolin is a wax that is secreted from the hair glands of wool-bearing animals, also sometimes called wool fat. It's interesting. It's a product that people who maybe are vegetarian or vegan would consider using because it's possible that it can be ethically sourced.
Yeah, you do not have to hurt the creature to get it. It is a product of processing wool because we're shearing them and using the wool anyway.
Correct. And I cannot speak for how everyone treats their animals, so that's personal, but just saying. But wool fat apparently smells really bad.
Helena. That's a matter of opinion. I actually really enjoy the smell.
Okay, I'm not sure what it smells like.
It's very peaty. It's like if you were smelling the smoky version of Scotch. Like, that's what that reminds me of.
Remember that perfume line?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, I didn't like all of it.
Weirdo.
No, not weird. It's just everything online said it smelled real bad.
It's not popular.
Okay. So Helena's uncle had a sheep farm. I don't know what happened. Her and her uncle had some sort of falling out. She got a job. She found someone to invest in her, and she got some new sheep. Because of the smell, she experiments with mixing it with lavender or pine bark or even water lilies. And at the time, what she was selling to people cost her about 10 pence to make each. I said jar. I don't know what she sold them in. But she sold it for 72 pence a piece, which is also known as 6 shillings, which, according to the internet, was about $1.75 in U.S. currency in the early 1900s. Which means, I did some really bad math. It seems like it cost her about the value of 24 US cents to create, which would be about $7 or $8 today, that she was selling it for what would be about $42 today. And it was
Solid
costing her
business.
$6 or $7 to make.
Good for her.
The point of all of that is markup.
It's always been a thing.
She was kind of one of the very first people to really engineer it via her super cute packaging. She realized that people ate up the packaging. She's also the first person to be photographed in a lab coat in the lab working with lab materials to promote her skincare. We can basically thank her for, and I hate to say this because I just admitted to how many skincare products I use. And, I do love me a good peer-reviewed paper. But basically, it's what is a bunch of pseudoscience in skincare today.
It just creates a veneer of respectability. It's not necessarily backed by anything.
No.
It can be. Sometimes it is.
Sometimes. But, you think of skincare and you're like, creams and molecules, lotion ads, it's being absorbed into my skin. I can see the molecules go. It's scientific, it's fact-based, it's precise. It's not. I'm not saying that everything that goes into our skincare is completely fake, because that's not true. It's just that with some things, if you do the research on it, it's like, well, you have this substance occurring naturally in your body, and it lubricates your joints. So we think that by creating it and sticking it on your skin, it's going to lubricate your skin.
And essentially, we thought this sounded like a great story, and we bet you will too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe that's real. That's cool if it is. Just own up to it.
Mm-hmm.
So back to Helena. She had no scientific training. She was also known to fib a lot about her age, which makes sense for that industry. And very annoyingly, one of the sayings she's famous for is, there are no ugly women. There are only lazy women.
Oh my God.
That reminds me of the saying today, which you'll see a bunch of before and after pictures of usually celebrities or known people who've had surgery. And it'll say, you're not ugly, you're just poor. Which is equally bad, because we're saying that however these people looked before their surgery, they were ugly, but now they're not ugly. And therefore, I'm only ugly because I can't afford to look like how every single person looks nowadays.
Stupid cyclical crap.
It's exactly the same.
Because the beauty industry exists in a niche of leisure time. If you don't have the money to have leisure time, it isn't a niche that you can feasibly pay attention to.
Yes. Helena also brought in the whole idea of an individualized skincare routine. Mm-hmm. You could go to her shop and have someone look at your skin and prescribe you X, Y, and Z, because mo products is mo money. So I'm going to jump ahead to current times. I would say the most popular idea in adult women, and now more men definitely too, skincare is anti-aging.
It's the biggest marketing section that you see. It is absolutely every single ad you see.
Want to know a secret? There's no such thing as anti-aging. Do you know how I know? Because we're all going to age, no matter what. You can have the best plastic surgeon ever, and maybe you look like Anna Wintour. Not saying she goes to a plastic surgeon, I'm just saying. But you're still going to age, and your skin is going to age. We should embrace that, but we don't, because by making us feel bad, the skincare industry exists. With anti-aging, we're plumping skin, making it tighter, getting it injected, moisturizing it, more moisturizing it, more moisturizing.
It's grabbing control.
Yeah. And men, especially more nowadays, will fall victim to this as quickly as women do. But it makes me sad that it's forever been if you can be paler and prettier and younger, then we'll like you.
Then the advantages will all appear.
Yeah. Another thing about all of that moisturization, and again, another thing I hate, but the more we moisturize, the less inclined our skin is to make its own oils. So when you think about this, it's a trap. You use your cleansers to remove your natural oils, and then you put back on your scientific oils, which then prompts your skin over time to make less of its own oils, which you might think sounds good, but you need to have a little bit of oils. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah, it was like we were saying with the white lead cycle and the mercury cure cycle. It looks like good enough effects, just long enough to get you into the room.
Yep. So I looked up an article from Harvard Health, and here's a summary of what it said. Basically, companies know that science sells. So Labeling and ads of a lot of skincare products use very scientific terms. Moisturizers will be called hypoallergenic or allergy tested, even though there's actually no government standard for making that claim, so anyone can do it.
There's no regulation for the word natural. You can put it on anything you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, I could make something and sell it at the farmer's market and call it hypoallergenic.
You're not required to prove it.
Nope. Some products say they're, oh gosh, I'm going to mess this word up. Some products say they're that they won't clog up your skin and give you pimples. That's the word.
Non-comedogenic.
Yeah, there you go. But honestly, that's not saying much because almost all moisturizers on the market today use those kind of ingredients.
Most of the time when you see those lawsuits, like, California successfully fought carcinogenic product A, the only thing that they've actually won is the right to have it on the label.
Yep, that's why you always see things that are like, in the state of California, this causes cancer.
To cause cancer. Just in the state of California.
Yeah, nowhere else. If you leave the state with it, that's fine. Do not believe that.
No.
That is me being sarcastic. Again, like with things that are packed full of vitamins. For example, I use this amazing vitamin C cream that has also vitamin E and, gosh, is it folic acid? I don't know. But honestly, when those three are combined together, it smells like hot dog water. And why do I use it? Because I'm convinced I'm going to be youthful. However, most of these products, the amount of actual vitamins they have in them is not going to make a difference. The vitamin effects and the vitamins degrade with exposure to light and oxygen.
However, the joy you get from your routine probably does more for your skin than any of the rest of it.
That's the thing. And most of the time, I do enjoy my routine. And I don't think you've watched this yet, but there is a scene in the TV show Euphoria, and one of the characters she's going through it. So she's doing her skincare routine, and it is wild. Like, she gets up at 3 a.m. She's in high school, but her skincare routine is so intense, and the whole scene is shot in this, like, strange but interesting but flowery way, like literally flowery. But what it's saying, I believe, is that this is what soothes her. This is like the constant in her life.
Exactly.
And also with all of the kids who apparently like stormed Sephora to make skincare smoothies. Yeah, that was a thing. They're like, well, we don't care if we need it. We just really like this routine. I think I see that in one of my nieces. Mm-hmm. When we got home from high tea a couple weekends ago, she immediately starts like taking off her makeup, which at this point, thankfully, is just like mascara. And then like going through this whole routine. And if it's something you enjoy and you're not doing it because you've completely sold yourself to the hype, it's not harmful. I listen to my Girls Next Level podcast, and Holly Madison, and she's very open about all the work she's had done, and she looks really good. Bridget, I don't know what procedures, if any, she's had done, but she also looks good. A couple weeks ago, they interviewed former Playmate of the Year, Sarah Jean Underwood, and I was shocked at how Sarah Jean looked exactly the same, and not in like the reality TV show filter that's placed over people when they're talking.
But just legitimate no change.
Yeah, no change.
Interesting.
What made me really sad, though, is she said that one of these days she's going to have to reconcile with the fact that she will get older and she'll look older no matter what she has done.
I mean, we all have to reconcile with that.
She said that, though, she's made almost all of her living, like in her adult life, off of her looks. And so she knows it's going to be really difficult to deal with.
That is really scary for the thing that you've made your livelihood out of to never really be in your control.
Never.
That's independently scary.
Yeah. So the marketing of the importance of having such a huge skincare routine is why I have so many products. But that is going to bring us to what I consider the holy grail of skincare, which is Korean skincare. There have been times in Korea's history when they could not buy, at least not in their country, products made elsewhere. So they made their own skincare.
So it's an independent business evolution. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I didn't know that until yesterday. I remember when we were leaving China, so we're in the international section of the Shanghai airport, and the two women in front of me were the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life. These women were 12 out of 10. And so I'm tripping over myself to look at their passports. They're both from Korea.
Got access.
Right. And I want to go. I'm going to go one day. I'm going to go just to try every skincare routine ever.
That's the joy.
Right. Korean skincare has given us like many things, but one of them would be the glass skin trend. So glass skin is when your skin is like as reflective and gorgeous as cleaned glass. That ideal in skincare right now, plus the incredibly fun products that they have, Tony Moly, I'm talking about you, has just led to a big rise in everyone wanting Korean skincare and therefore their routine. Because when you're putting 15 serums and moisturizers on your skin, it's going to shine. That's why, thank you, Korean skincare. I love you. But that is why I have so many steps in my routine. It's like
you have the same joy as your niece.
Yeah.
You do.
When it's a cute bunch of packaging that's like so beautiful or cute to me, I can't resist it. So it's all vanity, but it did kind of make me think that like, I don't actually need all these serums. It's all vanity. The thing is, you've also got layers and levels to your vanity, right?
Got different reasons that it
Yes.
exists.
I desperately want that gold face mask that Martha Stewart uses by, and again, I'm going to butcher this name, the French skincare company, which is actually a subsidiary of the Japanese skincare company. I don't know how to say it.
I couldn't say.
The mask is $300. One time somebody let me use theirs. They were like, I have a $300 mask. Do you want to try it? I was staying in like a very fancy part of Dallas, which makes it all make more sense. But yeah, I was like, absolutely. The only thing I will actively avoid, not because I'm bougie, is the incredibly cheap skincare. One of my nieces, so I don't know when the last time you've been in the mall was. I think I've been to the mall like twice in the past 4 years, and the stores are so weird. But we have one. It's a fun store. It reminds me of some of like they weren't really like dollar stores, but like Dollar General-ish local stores in China where like you'd have bins of stuff that cost like $1, things like that. It reminds me of that. But they have so much fun, absolute fast fashion, landfill creating things. However, she bought those there were knockoffs of the yellow star patches you use to put on zits, like zit patches. And they like burned her skin. So, in conclusions, general skincare as we know it, of course, emerged around the 1900s. The first sunscreen came in 1935. In the 60s, laser treatments for your skin was a thing. Listen to this. You probably know this. In the earliest versions of it, rubies, like the stone, were zapped with high energy flashes of intensive light to target unwanted hair, acne scars, and pigmentation.
I did not know that. Although it's so interesting that every time we get our hands on a major shift in technology, we go, if you flash it at a person enough, health benefits occur.
Health benefits, meaning beauty standards. In the 1970s, chemical peels became like the must get.
Those terrify me.
Okay, so in the 70s is when they were considered to start being like actually safe. Original chemical peels contained phenol, as I say it out loud, phenol, and Rose, can you say this word?
Trichloroacetic acid?
Yep. By the 90s, they were replaced with exfoliants like glycol and lactic acids.
Much preferable.
Yeah. So to wrap all of this up, the place we used to work at, I knew it was going to come up 1,000 times in this, we're a big proponent of using more basic, and forgive me for using the word, natural ingredients.
Big old star.
Big old star, because when I say natural, I mean things that are generally found in nature. But there's a lot of wild stuff found in nature, right? So, for example, some of the skincare had like kale and clay. We had olive oil. Did we have anything with almonds in it?
Oh, absolutely.
Almonds are controversial in skincare. The almond shells can be really rough on people's skin.
Well, and there's a lot higher prevalence of allergens.
Yes. So despite me really enjoying their serum and some of their facial moisturizers, and I love their face masks, their cleansers were the only products that ever really broke me out.
And they would just sort of kind of push it off as, oh, it's dermatitis.
Detoxing.
Oh, it takes your skin some time to get used to this. Give it enough time to get into that routine so that you are invested enough to stick with it after it turns bad.
Right.
I think we've heard this before.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. So even though there's more so-called natural, because there's nothing natural about 90% of the stuff in its finalized state, and they never claimed to be a natural company, but
they leaned real heavily into that marketing.
Yeah. People would come in all the time and say, I told my friend how everything here is all natural. And I'm like, pink glitter is not natural, but okay. At some point, you just get tired of fighting with them and you're like, yeah, cool, thanks. Moving along. But yeah, they're the only ones that broke me out. And I don't know if I believe that your skin needs to detox to get used to it, because I switch up facial cleansers all the time and I don't have that issue. So in conclusion, I'm not saying skincare is a scam. It's not.
But
it's
do
nice.
It for the joy.
But yeah, if you're going to do it for the joy. Don't do anything to hurt yourself. And don't believe that you need it to be more beautiful. Because, I mean, let's be real. How often has beauty standards changed? When I was a teenager, you had to be like super crazy thin. And as a person with hips, buying pants at that time sucked. But then we just went through a big phase where curvier is better. It's all fake.
There's always someone left out.
It's all fake.
And eventually it comes back around to you.
Yeah, and I hope that you enjoy yourself, because even if you live to be 72 by only eating jelly, then...
with ruse stuck up your nose.
Just enjoy it. It's all you've got. But that's my message for all y'all. Don't stress it too much. Just enjoy it. You're beautiful. Fellow tea lovers, before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.